Star Wars only, I don't know what the fuck your problem is.
So let's talk about The Mandalorian Episode 1, Chapter 1, but about the spoilers. This is a spoiler talk, so if you haven't seen the first episode, the first chapter, don't even bother with this video unless you just want to be spoiled. But if you have seen it, I do want to discuss a few things, and not in any particular order. We all know the ending was probably the biggest thing. I do want to talk a little bit, though, about the Mandalorian himself and the character when he goes to kind of like this bunker in one part, and he talks to another Mandalorian, and I believe it's a female Mandalorian who is like an armor builder. And when the Mandalorian gets paid this Berserk or something like that, or Beskar, I think Beskar is the name of it. He gets paid like some Beskar thing, and it's supposed to be something significant to the Mandalorians. And so when he gets that from this Imperial client guy, he takes it to the armor lady, and she melts it down and puts it in just some armor form for him. And I assume that since it's a Beskar armor, it's like extremely strong. It's the one that can reflect blaster bolts and everything. You saw at the beginning where the guy who was threatening him said, "Is this Beskar?" and like scratched his plate, and it didn't really do anything. I think that's a very special armor, and I like that they have that kind of tradition and culture to them, and it explored that just a little bit. Not too much, but just a little bit. They even talk about a great purge that happened with the Mandalorians. And so there's a lot of story that it's touching on, not only with Rebels, but with the Clone Wars specifically, and we'll probably learn a lot more about that in Clone Wars Season 7. What I also find interesting is the entire bounty that he's going at the end of the episode. He's looking for this baby that's the same species as Yoda, and we'll talk about that in a second, but if you recall, that was a mission for him. The client who had the Imperial Stormtroopers around him, he was looking for that baby. The doctor wanted something with that baby, and the baby's 50 years old. So the question you have naturally is, what do these guys want with that child, with that 50-year-old baby, which is a funny thing to say, and what is the end goal for them? Are they trying to learn some secrets to the aging process, or maybe even the Force, if the baby has the Force? I don't see that likely, because I think it'd be a little bit too on the nose of Yoda. But still, there's some interest there on what are they going after, and are they part of the Empire, or are they just people who have Imperial Stormtroopers around them? How does this affect the future of the show? This was a very good show, or good episode, on actually getting you interested in the world that the Mandalorian is taking place in. But back to the child, the baby at the end that's 50 years old that the Mandalorian was hunting down. I loved at the end of it how he catches the baby, basically. He goes in and he sees the baby floating in his little crib and whatnot. And IG-11's like, well, I'll terminate it. And he's like, no, it's, alive. And IG-11's like, nope, it's supposed to be terminated. And what I thought was really shocking is when IG-11 pulled up the blaster and the shot was on the Mandalorian's face and you see the blaster bolt go off. I truly thought that IG-11 had killed the kid. I was like, oh my god, this show is fucking dark. He just killed a youngling. Like, not even a youngling, but he killed a youngling. And you see IG-11 drop, and it's like, oh, okay, so it's a big twist. The question is next is IG-11 going to come back? A lot of us thought that IG-11 and the Mandalorian were going to be some kind of dynamic duo with great chemistry throughout the entire series, and IG-11's dead. Got a shotgun to the head. And, I don't really mind. I didn't really care too much, but I was just a little bit taken aback by it. And so there's that question. There's also the question on what's next for this child, this 50-year-old youngling that is the same species as Yoda. What's also interesting about this is that I believe this is exactly what George Lucas got involved with The Mandalorian for. There were some reports coming out of, I believe, MakingStarWars.net. Jason Ward always has really good sources on these situations, and he was saying that there were people involved with the production of The Mandalorian saying that George Lucas was brought in as consultation on the species of Yoda. They were going to explore the origins of Yoda's species a little bit more and something about that. And I think this shows the direct influence that Lucas had over the show, over this episode specifically, and the origins of the Yoda species, because Dave Filoni was the director of this episode, and Jon Favreau, of course, wrote it. And you see some behind-the-scenes set stuff of them working together with George Lucas. If there's anyone who's going to talk to George Lucas and bring him in for their episode, I feel like it would be Dave Filoni, because George Lucas was his mentor, and Jon Favreau, of course, is a big Lucas fanatic. So I think those two guys brought in Lucas for this episode and for this talk about what they would do with the origin of the species of Yoda and how all that works. And I'm pretty confident Lucas was the one who was like, yeah, I'd be a 50-year-old baby. I mean, why not? It's just, I feel like this had Lucas directly involved in some way or form, and I'm pretty confident the sources are correct on that. And I think that's just great news. I think that's what helps bring this show to life a little bit more, add a little bit of that mystique to it on what the origins of the Yoda species are, because we've never gotten a name for Yoda and Yaddle. She's another one of the Jedi Council. We never really got a name for their species, and they have a lot of mystery behind them, because Yoda was like 900 years old when he died, and that's interesting. There's some story to be told there of what Yoda was like as a kid, and it's just funny seeing a baby version of Yoda. You know, he was green and everything. He wasn't blue or pink or any different color. He was green, a little green baby, 50 years old, older than me, but doesn't even know it. So there's a lot of cool things like that that I think in the Mandalorian show are great so far, and I'm really excited to see where this show goes. You also have Carl Weathers' character, I believe his name is Grief. So you have a potential story outlines with him and the guild, the bounty hunter guild, that the Mandalorian's taking part in. I'm pretty confident we're going to get more about that down the line. And you also have the Mandalorian side, the tribe that the Mandalorian is involved with, because he talks about that when he goes to get his armor fixed. He talks about helping out the tribe or something like that. I'm pretty confident the Mandalorians as a community and as a culture are going to have more impact on this film, or not this film, but on this series, and that maybe not in season 1, but maybe in season 2 you're going to see like a team up of 4 or 5 Mandalorians, or maybe a lot of them are kind of re-emerging the clan again or something like that. I think there's some potential there. I think there's a lot of potential with the show in general. But tell me your thoughts below. What do you think about The Mandalorian Episode 1, Chapter 1? Did you like it? Did you not like it? And what do you think about little baby Yoda and the Mandalorian getting his armor fixed? And what else was there? IG-11 dying. I mean, that was kind of shocking. I think a lot of people didn't expect that to happen. But tell me your thoughts below. I'm Star Wars Only. Hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. I hope you guys enjoyed The Mandalorian. I'll see y'all next time. And may the Force be with you always.